It's week 12, week 1, 2. That's not a you. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning back in. We're starting the game off this week with the mistake by the lake. Cleveland. Pittsburgh, 3.5-point favorite on the road. Rock, what do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, Pittsburgh blew their cork last week in beating Baltimore. That doesn't mean anything because, like you said, they didn't score a touchdown. I think that Brissett threw for 378 yards, and you got the dog pound. I'm taking Cleveland outright to even straight up. Forget the 3.5. You?
Not so fast. Pittsburgh, like I said, they 6 field goals last week against Baltimore. They kept Baltimore at bay for most of the game. They blitzed. They had Lamar Jackson worried. And if you can stop Lamar Jackson, you can stop any other quarterback in the NFL. Make him look bad, make him feel uneasy, and then play a top-tier zone on third down to shut down and get him off the field. The defense is too good. Sorry, Jameis. Sorry, everybody else. And on top of that, it's windy, snowy, rainy. This game is underwritten all over it. Pittsburgh's defense shuts them down. Pittsburgh wins by 10 points.
And I love Pittsburgh. I'm actually cheering.
It's 14-3. Final score.
Oh, no, I've got 17-10. No. All right, let's go, baby boy.
Moving on. Dallas going to play Wash. Commanders coming off a bye, primed to beat the Cowboys. Cowboys showed a few glimpses. Cooper threw for more than 45 yards. 300 yards, actually, even though the game was pretty one-sided. Washington should command this victory at home. Rock, what do you think?
Well, it's a 10-point game. Washington's going to win it. Will they cover? Probably. Will I make a bet? No. But Washington wins.
I agree. Washington wins. Covering is... Dallas could show up.
10 between the...
Just garbage time, last-minute touchdown to cover. I don't like the spread, but I like Washington outright.
Me too.
Moving on. Tampa Bay going to see New York Giants. Danny
is benched.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about DeVito. What's his name? I don't know. The Italian. Doesn't matter. But Tampa Bay is coming off a bye. Mike Evans is back. We're firing on full cylinders. Tampa Bay, a 4-game losing streak. That's broken this week. They'll win and cover. Rock. What do you think?
It's only a 5-point line. Tampa wins and covers. I agree. For sure.
I don't know.
There's nothing for sure.
Nothing for sure.
This year.
I'm worried about that. But I think 4 games is too many for Tampa to keep losing. All right, Kansas City going to see Carolina. Coming off their first loss. Rightfully so. I mean, Buffalo played well. Kansas City couldn't make the critical plays when they needed to. Great game. Kansas City 11-point favorite. It might be a little too much, Rock, with their offense. What do you think?
Well, you know what? The amount of games by Kansas City that they've won for less than 7 points is like very, very small. Mm-hmm. However, I think it's going to stay small. Kansas City wins by 10.
I agree. I think Kansas City by a touchdown here. They're going to come back. This team's not going to lose 2 in a row, especially not to Carolina. Even if it's on the road, I don't think that matters. Kansas City wins, but I think it's also a no cover here.
Me too.
All right, moving on. An NFC North showdown.
The
Bears off a upsetting loss, block field goal. It happens to them all the time. Minnesota, they bounced back last week. I think they're going to continue to have a rhythm going to see Chicago. I think they'll win this game. And, Rock, what do you think?
Not so fast, my friend.
Okay, here we go.
Sam Darnold's got a little...
He's tapped into the streets.
Sam Darnold has a little toe problem. Aaron Jones has a hip problem. That doesn't mean they're not going to play. Chicago's at home. They did real good last week. They win and take the money line. Bears outright.
Bears outright? I'm not opposed to that. They showed me more than I expected against Green Bay. It was a rough game, a lot of pushing and shoving.
They like the new OC.
They like the new
OC, which is cool.
They got the ball to Swift. They utilized the running back, which was what they needed to do. They were putting too much pressure on Caleb's shoulders. Let Swift do what he does. He's a great back.
And let him get the ball out of the backfield quicker.
Right.
And give him the play with 11 seconds left on the clock because there's no motion. There's no time to read the defense. Mm-hmm. Good quarterbacks do that. They get to play in at 17 to 20 seconds on a 40-second clock.
There you go.
And the Bears are just taking their time. That's the head coach's fault. He's got to get the plays in sooner. Okay.
Hey, for once in a blue moon, you convince me. Da Bears. Dogs. Outright.
All righty then.
Moving on. New England. Miami. New England sure is happy to be playing in Miami this week because the weather is starting to get there. Miami is kind of red hot right now. And New England with Drake May, are they going to be able to cover or win? Rock, what
Well,
do you think?
number one, Miami made Buffalo look like monkeys. They ran all over them. Then the next week they didn't run much at all. Tua's getting the ball out in like 1.5 seconds.
Quick.
Miami wins this one by 14.
I agree. I think this is a breakout game for them at home.
Because they're at home, yeah.
At home. I think they're going to have a few big plays. It's not going to be a very convincing game, but the big play potential is always there for them. And I think they hit Tyreek deep. They break a big 15, 20, 30-yard run. And I think they're going to win this game and cover.
Well, they still got two healthy running backs.
No, Mostert's out.
Oh, Mostert's out.
They have Achane and they have some guy Wilson who's been filling in the blanks all season.
Okay.
But Achane's good. He's good enough to be an every down back.
Okay.
But they have the big play potential, and I think this is the game where you're going to see some big plays.
Okay.
80-yard pass play, Waddle down the middle, Tyreek far, and we're moving on.
Okay.
Tennessee, Houston, in their division. Houston, -8. You know, they beat the Cowboys convincingly. Joe Mixon, 3 touchdowns. Wow. Great ground game. Rock, what do you think?
Well, 7.5. Interdivision, it's a coin toss. Buy it to 6.5. Take Houston, and there's Houston's going to win, no doubt about it. I don't like their coach. He tends to sit on the lead a little bit and play a little too cautious for me.
I want to interject. I agree they have performed poorly in the second half, but I don't think that's sitting on leads. I think that's indecisiveness. When they have the game put away, they run, and when they don't, they also. They can't get in the right rhythm in the second half.
Let me interject this. The Houston coach looks like probably a future Mike Tomlin. We never know what coaches say in the locker room. When they were kicking Detroit's ass, I bet that coach went in there and said, okay, we need to hang on and win this one and be careful and be cautious. The right kind of coach would have gone in there, if it was me, and said, hey, we're beating the shit out of these guys. Let's keep it up and knock them on their asses. Houston just didn't come out with much fire at all, and that coach needs to learn how to fire his guys up at halftime.
Yeah, but the opposite happened in the Cowboys game. They were still trying to execute their offense, and they weren't executing their offense. They didn't score any points in the third quarter. They scored. They only got that. They got the one touchdown from the defense in the beginning of the fourth quarter against the Cowboys, and they let the Cowboys kind of keep it close until the very last drive where they finally.
Which is why I talk about the second half of this guy just. He needs to talk to
They play conservatively against the Lions and they give it away. They play not conservatively against the Cowboys and they almost gave it away.
And who's making the halftime speeches? The OCDC or him?
I don't know if it's a speech as much as his execution.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Detroit coming off the biggest margin of victory in their history, and also handing Jacksonville the biggest loss in their franchise history. 7.5 points going to Indy, who Indy beat the Jets last minute run-in by Anthony Richardson. 7.5 points on the Road Rock. What do you think?
Gotta be. Detroit's beating everybody by 20 except one game, and they'll win this one by 20 also.
I agree. I think they're going to win and cover this game. I think it's going to be more like a 10-point win.
Well, all right, they're going to cover them.
I haven't really seen Detroit play against an elusive quarterback yet. They played against pocket passers. Rams, Vikings.
Good point.
I haven't really seen them play against a run capable quarterback.
Okay.
So that's why I'm a little bit worried about a blowout, but I think they're going to win and cover. Give me a 10-point, 2-touchdown win.
John Taylor might. Yeah, it could be closer than we think, but they're still going to cover.
Yeah, I agree. We're
All right.
The biggest head scratcher. The Lions moved quite a bit. Denver going to Las Vegas. The line opened, I think, at 3.5. It's moved to 6 points.
Whoa.
Rightfully so. Denver looks like the better team here. Looks like a no-brainer. Brock Bowers is having a breakout season, but I don't think it's enough. Denver's defense is tough. Rock, what do you think?
I think Minshew hangs in there and covers. I think Denver, their defense is real good. And Knicks, who I have picked for Rookie of the Year at 10-1.
Hey, great case.
But they're on the road, and Vegas keeps it close, but Denver wins by a field goal.
This one's hard for me because I think Denver is their best game, worst game. I think last game was their best game. Having 4 touchdowns, Bo Nix.
They should have beat whoever they played 2 weeks ago.
Kansas City. That was a good game, but that wasn't their best game. They played good defensively.
Right.
They kept Mahomes in check, but they only scored 14 points. That's not enough. That's not enough to put away Mahomes. That's why they lost. The block field goal, blah, blah, blah. But,
all right.
Their best offensive game of the season was last game. And I think that's why the Raiders has a chance to keep it sneaky close. All right, so Denver wins. I'll say they cover. They get a touchdown. They cover by a point.
All right.
Moving on. Battle of the Bay. San Francisco going to Green Bay. Green Bay's a favorite at home, Rock. What do you think?
Well,
3
San Francisco's 5-5. Season could be over. Could be. What's his name supposed to be back?
What's his name? Kittle?
Kittle is supposed to play, and 1.5. I have to take San Francisco.
1.5. It's 3 points. I would have 3 right now.
San Francisco's getting 3.
Yeah.
Well, I take a 0.5 point and take San Fran with 3.5, but I think Green Bay's going to win.
Brock Purdy, injured throwing shoulder, day to day.
Ooh,
That has me curious. But you know who's their backup quarterback? Dobbs, the guy with no eyebrows, the NASA genius. So even if Purdy doesn't play, I feel confident that even with the backup quarterback, that they're going to be in good position. They have the tools. CMC's their game back. I think this game is a trap. Green Bay didn't really convince me against the Bears. So I'm going to say San Francisco must win a game for them. Hungrier dog on the road wins outright. Don't even need the points.
Okay.
4, 9.
I'm surprised the points went up that much.
Yeah, well,
maybe it has to do with Purdy and those people know something we don't. But
yeah.
Let's move on.
Doesn't matter. Points aside, give it me.
All right.
The 49ers. Give me the red and gold. Interdivision. Arguably a biggest game of the afternoon. Arizona must-win situation. Seattle must-win situation. They're at home. The 12th man getting a point, Rock. What do you think?
Well, they got Metcalf and Lockard and Warner. Did I get those names right for once? For a semi?
No.
No, I didn't? Okay.
I mean, Metcalf and Lockett. And
the running
Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's Walker.
I was close.
Kenneth Walker Jr.
I was close.
Hey, 50%.
All right. You
I
gotta take Seattle at home. Arizona, I like Shorty. I like Marvin Harrison, and I like Connor. This game should be an over. I don't know what the over is.
47.5.
No wonder. Seattle should win this game at home.
I agree. Seattle at home makes sense. I'm going the other way. I'm going Kyler Murray, breakout game on the ground. He's going to run around like a little toddler with stolen candy. They're going to win by a touchdown.
And what if you had Arizona to go to the championship game and the odds at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, slim.
You'd be buying a Tesla. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go, baby.
All right, Sunday night football, Carey's game. Philadelphia going to Los Angeles. The Rams +3 at home. It makes sense. Philly's hot. But the Rams definitely had a big game last week. Cooper Kupp 2 touchdowns, plenty of catches. Puka got on the board. Finally looking like the offense that they're capable of being. But Philly,
they were flat the week before.
Yeah.
The Rams were flat. They didn't run the ball. They didn't do jack. And then they had a good game. So I interrupted you. You like Philly?
I think Philly, because they're coming off a long week. They played last Thursday. They played on Thursday.
Oh, there you go.
Extra rest. There is Hurts with an ankle. Questionable. He'll play, but he's on 100%. And if he's not doing it on the ground, then this game's different.
What's the line?
3.
Okay.
Philly covers.
The reason I'm taking the Rams is because they got a better coach. Okay? In my opinion.
Kellen Moore?
Kellen Moore's the OC for Philly, and I think that he's not really calling the plays. I think he talks it over. They're another team that gets the plays called in late.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they argue about it for 8 or 9 seconds, and then the coach that they don't like overrules. Last game.
Yeah, see, Philly wins last-minute drive to win the game.
All right.
Cover. Baltimore, Chargers fired up. Baltimore kind of on a cold streak lately, but they're a favorite on the road. Rock, what do you think?
Red Hot Jimmy Marlboro coming on with Justin Haber finally healthy, and Akers, I believe, is a running back. They take it to Baltimore and they beat them.
That's not the running back's name at all, but that's fine. Well, I agree. I think Chargers. It's J.K. Dobbins.
Dobbins, okay.
Not Cam Akers. Anyway,
Yeah,
moving
right.
on. LAC wins at home and covers and puts Baltimore away.
which is a big win for Pittsburgh tonight.